Well, let me go ahead and tell you where you are if you don't know, and welcome you back if you've been here before. Okay. My name is Greg Salyer. I'm the president of the University of Philosophical Research. Thank you. Thank you. And the Philosophical Research Society, and I'm so happy that you're here. We weren't sure if you would show up, but we put it up on our webpage, and we watched in amazement and slight horror as it just kept coming. And we're, whoa, 191 people. Can we handle this? We can, because we have an amazing staff. And I'm so glad you came. This is a really important event for us. It's been a long time coming, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and then make a presentation to our good friend. Virginia Warner has long been a friend of the Philosophical Research Society, which is our business and our base institution, because she shares our mission to bring the world's wisdom to all seekers. For the past several years, she's supported a large and significant undertaking for Manly P. Hall's unique esoteric library. Begun in 1934, the Philosophical Research Library has welcomed visitors from all over the world who come to explore books that are part of the great wisdom traditions and some that are found nowhere else. Initially, patrons would do their research by looking through these black binders, filled with typewritten entries and penciled-in notes. The cataloging system was neither Dewey Decimal nor Library of Congress. Rather, it was a list of books with its own unique formatting, including penciled-in notes and corrections. As time passed, the library grew, and we fell behind in both cataloging and mostly technology. Eventually, Manly Hall's great library was itself a mystery in terms of our ability to know and access what was in the stacks and bins. That is when Virginia Warner came to the rescue. Seeing the need to preserve and make available a precious resource, and in the tradition of her family's philanthropic ventures, Ms. Warner helped us begin an inventory of the library and a digital cataloging project with funds from her foundation. For the past several years, the library has been closed, mostly closed to the public, open only sparingly. That's because our librarians were working in the library to bring the catalog up to date. They were at a disadvantage without a searchable digital catalog. But after Ms. Warner's project got underway, we were able to see more of our holdings and know where they were in the stacks and bins, and this allowed us to open the library to the public on Fridays and on special occasions. Mark Marantz is Virginia's friend and ours, and he's been invaluable in getting this catalog launched, and he's going to say a few words to you now. Mark Marantz.
Thanks, Greg, and thank everyone for coming here tonight. It's kind of a wow moment. Thanks for the whole staff at PRS and all the supporters at PRS for hoisting the banner, flying the flag, carrying the torch for the wisdom that's here in this establishment. It's gratifying to see the turnout tonight. You know, with libraries closing, with bookstores shuttering, there's really not much out there these days in terms of people's access to information. There's also I guess you could say a world lost in the void of the Black Mirror. People often, how many in the audience have lost loved ones to the Black Mirror of technology? Right. To me, it's reminiscent of the Borg. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated into the cloud. And avoiding that is really a challenge, right? Today, in today's world. It's fantastic, I think, to see that there was something that resonated in the hearts and minds of everybody here that there was a connection between knowledge and learning and esoteric literature and technology. And I think bridging that gap is something that is a great opportunity for this establishment. And of course, it's fantastic that Virginia supported all of this. So thank you all for coming. As I'm sure that everyone has heard or read, the United Nations report on biodiversity came out this week, speaking about how 1 million species are about to go extinct, extinguished if we fail to protect it. Nature is unraveling before our very eyes, and we're part of nature. The essence of who we are is part of nature. Our survival is at stake. We've forgotten who we are, I think. We've forgotten that we're bound to nature. The atoms in our bodies and the essence of all living things on Earth are carrying molecules from stars that exploded billions of years ago. We've heard that. It's been scientifically validated. It's kind of amazing. We're all star children. Did you know that? I guess everybody does. Scientifically, the way that they validated that is by looking at all of the essential elements of the building blocks of life and determined that literally galaxies millions of light years away exploded in the essence of who we are. And we're talking also about the animals and the trees and all of the great web of life. We've also forgotten about the essence of spirit. The banishment of magic, the routinization of charisma, the essence of what it means to be human. This is a problem. Until we see this not as an intellectual construct, but a clarion call for us to revisit what it means to embrace our essential humanity and that connectedness, we have a little problem. It's a big problem. I've always believed for many decades that the solutions to all these problems, and these are very, very grave problems, we're looking at species extinction. I mean, that's not being an alarmist. I've always felt for many years that the solution to these problems is a spiritual one. Look at politics today. Is it inspiring to anybody? Not much. It's a mess out there. And it's not either or. It's not political or spiritual. It's always both and that's the challenge, right? How do we bridge that gap? Our dear friend Bob Thurman lectures often about how Western civilization has been magnificently successful in conquering the external world. We've gone to the moon. We've developed nanotechnology. We've built skyscrapers. And if you look at the manifestation of success externally, it's been magnificent. But cultures like the Tibetans and many of the esoteric traditions around the world have done the opposite. It's a different paradigm. They've gone internally and looked at the essence of our spiritual natures. And it's a question of bridging that gap, I think, that is really the challenge before us as a species. His Holiness the Dalai Lama often says, we do not need more titans of industry. We don't need another hedge fund billionaire. We need titans of the spirit. I think that's a beautiful concept. He also talks about how we need a radicalization of compassion. Isn't that great? We're all radicals for compassion. I love that idea. His Holiness is very, very inspiring. So Manly, of course, was one of those exalted spirits that pointed the way for all of us, that basically ran around the world gathering these amazing documents. I always saw Manly as I saw him as kind of like the real Indiana Jones. But he didn't wrestle snakes and alligators, and I don't think he fought off, raging monks in caves. But Manly had other challenges. Manly had other challenges, and he met all of them magnificently. He was an incredible person, tangible. The tangibility, the things that you can look at and touch in the library are so incredible. The things that are offered here, the courses, all of the wonderful, marvelous examinations and the explorations here are absolutely incredible. But what's happening in our public life, in our textbooks, in our public discourse, in the common square of our lives here in the world today, that spirit is gone. When's the last time in public you've heard a discussion of how an immortal soul accommodates a temporal body? Has anybody heard that lately in the conversation? I know here at PRS, of course those discussions go on every day here. That's what this is all about. The wonderful, marvelous thing and what we're celebrating here tonight is how Virginia Warner has seen all of that, and she has embraced the essence of what PRS stands for and what PRS is all about, and how that gap can be bridged, and how we can go beyond this magnificent hidden gem sitting here and enter that element of the cloud and be a facilitator of that transition from a quiet, incredible powerhouse of knowledge and wisdom and beauty and the essence of that spiritual connectedness. Because there is a sacred bond that we have with the nature of life itself out there, and how can we recapture it? So Virginia, and she's probably going to be very uncomfortable when I say this, but she's very much like Manly. And why? Because we're talking about humility. We're talking about an unassuming character, somebody that really cares in a way that is not really recognized or acknowledged, because she's very, very private. And I literally had to drag her to be on the stage today. It's just not in her nature at all. And that's a testament to her character. It's a wonderful thing. So what she's done is helping to bridge those gaps and to bring the brilliance of Manly and the incredible mini library of Alexandria here to the world in any way possible. That's what she has done. Now, those of us that know Virginia and her relatives, all of us that are close with her, refer to her as Ozzie, A-H-S-I-E. So that's how we call her, Ozzie. How you doing? Now, where did that name come from? It's kind of odd. Well, when she was a small child, she would walk around and say, I see, I see, I see. So the nickname Ozzie. So Ozzie did see. She sees the incredible brilliance here, and she sees what we can do with this incredible establishment. I give you Virginia Warner.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I think you just met Manly P. Hall incarnate. Really? So, thank you. I would like to recognize everyone here involved in this beautiful library. So thank you, Greg. Kelly, where's Kelly? Wonderful Kelly, and Sharon, and Frank. There you are. And of course, any members of the board, if they're here, and all contributors to PRS. I am here because of my admiration of Manly P. Hall and my mentor, Obadiah Harris. True story. Many years ago, in my practice of meditation, this very unusual message came to me. I was told, you must meet Obadiah. Heavens, I had honestly never heard the name before, so I turned to the book of Obadiah in the Old Testament. Coincidentally, I had been blessed with finding a very rare book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, by the great sage Manly P. Hall. And I thought there I may find an answer to this message. I was absolutely awestruck by the remarkable range of wisdom Manly compiled. Never before had I read such a treatise of the ancient truths offered to this world. And in his dedication, it reads, to the rational souls of the world. I knew then I wanted to commit to being one of those rational souls. And my journey began to seek that knowledge and find Obadiah. So when my friend and colleague Mark called me 6 years ago and told me about PRS, the library, and his newfound friend, the president, Dr. Obadiah Harris. I honestly had an aha moment. Wow. So from that moment on, Mark and I had a mission to create a complete digital catalog of this great collection. And with the help and guidance of Obadiah, we pledged through my foundation to achieve this goal. So it has been my privilege and really a deep honor to support and uphold Manly's vision and great. Oh, heavens. Good. Anyway, his great hope of this library to be made available to all around the world. Thank you.
Manley says thank you so much, Virginia. He's texting. So, finally, our labor of love is complete, and we invite you to celebrate with us and Ms. Warner as we dedicate this digital catalog. Thanks to her, it is digitally cataloged, and online patrons from anywhere in the world can see the entries for our holdings. You can now do your research at home, come in with your search results, ask our librarian to pull the books for you. It also means, and this is the best part, I think, that we can begin to open the library to the public more. So, it's been a long haul. So beginning in June, we will open Tuesday night as usual before our president's class, and Tuesdays through Fridays during the week. Yay! Okay. So if you go to our website, you will see here the complete catalog. It may be familiar to some of you. And it has everything now, thanks to Virginia. We have a new catalog that has about 9,000 records in it, and we're continuing to work on that. And it too is on the website. So let's see what happens. And there you go. A much better interface for the catalog. And again, we're working on getting all the records in there. By the way, once those records are in there, they will be in WorldCat, so you library nerds will know what that is. Okay, thank you, library nerds, for coming out. We are library nerds here, and that means anywhere in the world you can search the World Catalog and see our holdings here. That also will help us to determine what's unique to our library, right? So there are things in our holdings we're sure that no one else has, but we haven't been able to tell yet because the catalog wasn't complete. Now it is, and we'll be looking to work on that in the coming years. Kathy Willis was our librarian for many years and began this project. She's now our librarian emeritus. Yes. She developed what we call the library sigh, which is when you open up a book and you have no idea of what its provenance is, and you go, and it spreads. So if you're in the library for more than an hour, you will catch the library sigh. But now, see, there will be no more sighs because we know what's in there. This is Kelly Carmena in the back. Our current librarian and director of everything here. And these are our catalogers and volunteers who've helped along the way. Thank you so much. And this plaque will now hang right by the front door of the library. You can see it there. the Virginia S. Warner in recognition of the Virginia S. Warner Foundation for its vision and contribution to create the digital library catalog of the Philosophical Research Society Library, May 11th, 2019. Thank you, Virginia. Please, if you didn't get to see the library, Kelly, can they still see the library? Is it shut? Yeah? Kelly's going to let you in.